So what do you think about Uncle Tony's acquisition of Seplat? Not too long ago.
So I know that a lot of the reports are like Tony Elumelu purchased 20% of Seplat. So it is
Heirs holding.
through Heirs Energy. So it is Heirs Energy that
Mhm.
has purchased 20% of Seplat through Maryland Prom.
Yeah.
So on the 22nd of December, there was the first announcement by the African Bank and joint announcement with Heirs Energy,
Mhm.
financing of $750 million.
Yeah.
And a couple days later, maybe a week later, then there was the announcement of the 500 million, 20% of
Yeah.
Seplat. I like you've already mentioned that it could be. You mentioned the asymmetry of information. I mean, Seplat is the biggest player in Nigeria, biggest indigenous player in Nigeria.
Mhm.
One narrative that was going around is the financing updates
Yeah.
was Nigerian or Africa being able to finance its own
Own
deals.
deals. Yeah. Yeah.
Its own
Yeah.
deals.
Mhm.
It is good to see,
Yeah.
but um it is still loan, right? So Tony is not backed by Tony Elumelu's assets. It is
Yeah.
secured by Heirs Energy's assets.
Yes.
We've
Yeah.
seen it happen tens of times in the past where companies disappear in Nigeria and they are unable to make their payments. They become taken over by Amcon and whatnot. I do recognize that the guy is a savvy businessman. I think the play is from my own end is just, the growth in the energy space. If
Mhm.
you are going off what has happened in the international space over the last 1 year with
Yeah.
investments, there's much more openness to fossil fuels now than
Yeah.
it was 2 years ago. So investments are coming in back into fossil fuels, that is crude oil, natural gas, even the projects that was abandoned by
Yeah.
ExxonMobil or Total, I don't know which of them, in Mozambique. So it was a natural gas project that was worth $20 billion, was abandoned in 2021.
Yeah.
Now it's now coming back on stream and it's
Mhm.
expected to start producing by 2029, I believe.
Yeah. I
So
think.
there's much more openness in that space. I think maybe, and I'm just thinking about it in real time, it could maybe be a short-term play where seeing where the American or the global, although it's America, see where the global space shifts towards. If it is going
Yeah.
to go back towards clean energy, and if that is going to be a rapid change, I can
Yeah.
see possible divestment or sell-off by Heirs Energy or Tony Elumelu in the nearest future. It's going to be
Yeah.
a short-term play and it's going to be a good one. I can see like at least over the next 3 years while we still have the Trump presidency
Yes.
and with the way that they've gone with fossil fuels, you can talk about their invasion of Venezuela, the 50 million barrels that they say they are being owed or they're expecting that they're expecting from Venezuela in the coming weeks. So yeah, I think it will be a short-term play. We can see a lot of growth in that space happen rapidly, and if the energy space does not revert to clean energy,
Energy.
then it
Yeah.
can be longer term. And yeah,
I think
what
for
else is
him.
that? I mean, at 750 million senior secured loan from African Bank, I think Heirs Energy, through Seplat should be able to conveniently service that loan and it should be fine.
Yeah. I
I think
think.
I think it's a short term. That's my own analysis of it.
Yeah.
Short term, possible long term, depending on how the global space moves in energy.
But I don't. So I have a slightly different opinion
Okay.
because he started acquiring oil and gas assets through his Air energies, and I think now he's just capitalizing or consolidating on that. So his own vision, I think I've heard him speak, is for Africa to be able to develop like our own resources without having external involvement. I think that's what he wants to set himself aside from the rest of doing. And because of that, they now all own about they're the largest institutional shareholders of Seplat at
Yeah.
100%. And what was even very interesting to me was how the market reacted to the acquisition. So you can tell what the analysts are thinking, what the bankers in in London are thinking about. So Seplat shares joined about, I think, 10+%
Mm-hmm.
after the announcement, which could be, of course, typical before announcement, after announcement, market
Yeah,
move.
yeah, yeah. So it rallies up immediately after the announcements, then it
Yeah,
starts
then it
to
now cools off.
cool
But
down.
if it wasn't a good news for
Yeah, yeah,
them,
yeah.
it
We won't
wouldn't have
see
gone
that kind of.
anyway. So uh it might be long, it might be more long term for him. I think he
Mm.
wants to. It's just like how I think Otedola held Geregu for about 12 years or 13 years. I'm not sure now. I was reading about it, and it might be that kind of play for him. He bought the power plant at about 132 million, sold 750, made like a 600, according to the calculations, 600 million return on that investment. So if Heirs will be disposing of their assets, of their oil and gas assets, it might be one fell swoop. And
Mm.
it could just be the stake in Seplat, except there's a problem with Seplat.
Yeah, yeah. I think one thing to note about oil and gas assets, I mean, we have some exposure to it, is I don't, I'm not certain that I don't think the valuation reflects the cash flow in the business. It's like printing money if you have your
Yes.
operations if you have your operations in order.
Yeah.
It is like printing money. So I imagine, I mean, of course, there is debt to pay and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Seplat raised a lot of money to acquire is it ExxonMobil assets or
Yes.
Total? I don't know which one are they. I always mix
It
up
was
those
Exxon.
companies.
It was Exxon.
Yeah, ExxonMobil, right?
Yeah.
So that has to be paid off still. But I mean, this oil and gas makes like a ridiculous amount of money. So
Mhm.
yeah, it doesn't have to be all market and valuation speak.
Yeah. So I think it's consolidation. Seplat, I think right now, I think as at the last numbers I said was doing over 100,000 barrels per day, and Heirs Energy is doing like 40, 50K
Yeah.
per day. So that's like huge,
So
huge.
net, you think they should be fined?
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Yeah,
Hmm.
they'll be fine. He's going to buy more. That's even my own prediction.
That
He
is going
wants,
to.
he wants to be the king of oil in Nigeria. So he wants to be, I think he wants to be the king of oil. I think he's seeing what Dangote is doing, wants to be the king
Mhm.
of the crude, while Dangote is the king of the
The finished goods,
petrochemical.
the refined petroleum.
Yes. Yes. I think that's what he's doing.